I went overseas in 1958. I just forget when I went, but I didn't come back till the beginning of about the end of January 1960. And I travelled in Europe and then in America for about 5 or 6 months. And I was in Miami with a school teacher fellow from South Australia, and there was a trip going down to Cuba. Castro had just taken over. Well, not long taken over, but no Americans were going down there. They still don't go, I think. But we went down to Cuba and we were there for a week. It was lovely. All the attention in the world because there's no tourists there. Accommodation, a couple of dollars a night. We go out to Havana Airport to fly back to Miami, and there's a fellow there loading boxes and all this stuff on the planes, and there's only 3 of us on the plane, Bill and myself down the back and this bloke up the front. And I said to Bill Mayfield, I said, I reckon I know that bloke. He said, oh, you know everyone, Bourke, as you travel, you reckon. Anyway, I walked up the old DC-3, I walked up the plane and I sat just across the aisle from him. And I said, well, I'm Brian Bourke from Australia. And he said, well, I'm Ernest Hemingway from the United States. And he then looked after us for the rest of the day and autographed my passport for me, and I got photos taken with him. And he was essentially, I mean, I'd read a lot of his stuff, and he was essentially the same, very clipped in his attitude, but knowledgeable about Australia and knowledgeable about a lot of things, I think. But
So what did you discuss exactly?
Oh, we just discussed For Whom the Bell Tolls. I just read For Whom the Bell Tolls. He'd written it a bit earlier, but great book. And he told me about his involvement in the Spanish scene and also about his years in Paris. I go to France every year, but there's a part in Paris that's a sort of a Hemingway quarter. There are plaques, you know, they do it in Europe. There's plaques up that Hemingway lived here or Hemingway drank coffee here or whatever it is in that area. And it was fascinating to hear him talking about, you know, Paris in the 30s because... and then it was only about 12 months or something like that. He shot himself. It didn't surprise me, just from my quick meeting of him, that he would be the sort of fellow who would attend to things rather than go through punishment and suffering and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know whether he was sick or not, but he certainly disposed of himself.
But why weren't you surprised?
He just had that attitude that I think there's a certain masculinity about some people in relation to suicide. I think suicide must be a very difficult thing to contemplate. But to a fellow like that, I think he had such a big vision of things that he would just knock himself rather than suffer. I'd be surprised if that wasn't the thing, but it really didn't surprise me that that's what happened to him.